Good morning, Standard 3. Today I'm going to start first chapter, Know Your Computer. This is your computer book, Digital Mind. I hope you have got this book, Digital Mind. And here is the first chapter at page number 7. Children, one thing you have to remember that whenever you start the video, open book. Okay, open your book first. Okay. So page number 7. Know your computer. Okay. So here in this chapter many things are there to discuss. How a computer works. First topic is given how a computer works. Then computer system, its part hardware. Some hardwares are given, then software, storage devices, software, okay, types of software. So these are some topics we will talk about. Okay. So our first topic is given how a computer works. Computer is called a system. Computer is also called a system. Now in standard 1 and standard 2 you already have learned many things about the computer. Okay. In standard 2 you have learned about computer. It's a smart machine. It's an electronic machine. Okay. And it helps us in various ways. Okay. Many things we can do on computer. You have learned how to use keyboard, mouse, what is CPU, CPU box. Okay, these things you have learned, and during practical classes you have learned how to do typing on computer. You have learned how to do painting. You have learned all these things. Okay, now in standard 3, more new things you are going to learn. Okay, so first topic is given how a computer works. So children, computer works in IPO cycle. Which cycle? IPO. Computer works in IPO cycle. IPO. I stands for input. P stands for process. O stands for output. So first phase, computer works in 3 phases. Okay, first phase input, process and output. And not only computer, you see in our daily life also, in our everyday life, we also do our some works in this fashion only. Okay, first input, second process and third output. I am giving you one simple example which you and your mother, she does every day. Okay, making juice. You all know, everyone can make juice. Okay, so when we make juice, no, suppose I am giving example of orange. Okay, so in first we collect oranges. Okay, we peel oranges, then oranges pieces we put in the juicer. Okay, we start juicer, and juicer gives a glass of orange juice. Okay, so this process, this whole process, we can divide it into 3 parts: input, process and output. Now you see, input, I take oranges in input phase. Okay, in input phase what have I done? I take oranges here. Then in process phase, juicer is mincing those slice of oranges, pieces of oranges, and making juice. Juicer makes juice in process phase. And finally in output phase, we get juice. Okay. So in our daily life also, you can observe that we do our work in these phases only: input, process and output. Suppose one more example, sharpening a pencil. when you sharp a pencil, every day, every student will do it. Okay. So for sharpening a pencil, what do you require? One sharpener and a pencil. So these two are input. These two are input for sharpening a pencil. For making glass of juice, oranges are input. Okay. And for sharpening a pencil and sharpener. So these two are required. So pencil, blunt pencil. Blunt pencil is the input. Now in process phase, sharpener will sharpen it. Sharpener is the processor. Here sharpener is the processor. Okay. And sharpener will sharpen pencil. And finally, output phase, you will get a nicely pointed pencil. Isn't it? So, you can see in our daily lives, we do our work in this IPO cycle. Okay, input, process and output. 3 phases. Computer works in 3 phases. Input, process and output. Now I am coming to the computer. Okay, in daily life example I gave you. Now computer. Suppose I have to solve this sum. 25 plus 52. This is addition sum. Okay, so to give this addition sum, okay, so inputs are these two numbers, 25 and 50. These two numbers are input. And between this, there is a plus sign. It is command. Okay. These two numbers are called data. These can be called data. Okay. And this plus sign is command. This plus sign is command. You can call it instruction also. Okay. 25 plus 50. Now, processor will process these numbers. 25 plus 50. Processor means here CPU. CPU is a processor of computer. So, processor will add these two numbers. 25 and 50. It will add numbers. And finally, output we will get. Output will be 77. Output is 77. So computer, you can see it's working in 3 phases. Okay. Input. In input phase, it takes data and command. Then process phase, CPU process whichever command, whichever data is given. So CPU process all those. And finally, we get the output. Okay. So computer works in this style. Is it clear? I hope it is clear to you. Okay. So you have to remember this. The computer works in IPO cycle. IPO's full form is input, process and output. Remember this thing, children? Now it's reading time, children. So I am reading from book and you have to keep finger over the line. Okay. A computer is also called a computer system. It can do a variety of jobs for us. Let us know how it works. So, how computer works? Computer takes data from the user. Computer takes data from the user. We are user. Whoever use computer, man is called user. Okay. So, we are user. You students are user of computer. So, computer takes data from user, process it according to the instruction and then gives back the result to the user. Okay, this means that computer follows 3 stages: input, process, output. For example, if we want to add 5, 4 and 2, the following stages will take place. Okay, same example is given here too. I took only 2 numbers here. In your book it is taking 3 numbers. Okay. So 5, 4 and 2, these 3 are data. 5, 4 and 2 are data and plus sign is the command. Okay. Addition command. This is input. Then in process phase, CPU processing this instruction Okay, 5 plus 4 plus 2. Okay, adding this number, and finally we are getting an output. Okay, now where do we see the output? So we see output on the monitor, because this output cannot come on the keyboard. We cannot see anything on the keyboard. Keys are there. Mouse cannot display anything. Okay, buttons are there. The screen is not there. So monitor has a screen. Monitor shows us output. Okay, so this in my example 77 is the output. So this output will go on the monitor. Okay, output we can get through printer also. Okay, so printer. Now here in book, final output is 11. Okay, so display of the result by the computer 11, that is output. Okay, so output can be seen on two places: on monitor screen, that is called soft copy output, and the same output if you want on paper, so through printer we can get it. So that output which you get through printer, okay, on paper, that is called hard copy output. Okay, so children, remember this too, that there are two types of output: soft copy output and hard copy output. Okay, so computer works in three phases: input, process and output. In input phase, computer takes input. Input can be data and command, and repeating, children, remember this. Okay, in input phase, computer takes data and instructions. Then CPU is a processor. It processes our data according to instructions, and finally it gives an output on monitor. Okay, so computer works in this system. I hope it is clear to you. Now in the next video, children, I will explain you our next topic, that is hardware. Okay, hardware. Our next topic is hardware. So next topic I will meet you. Next video I will meet you, and I'll teach you about hardware and software of